Hi guys, welcome to third lecture session of Java Server Pages, which deals with JSP Expression Tag. In earlier lecture, we discussed about introduction to JSP, anatomy of JSP, how the JSP processing is carried, and the declarative statements. Now, in this lecture, we are going to deal how the expression are evaluated in JSP. Mainly, expression tag is used to evaluate the expressions placed in it. That is, there may be the expressions may be of values or variables values, or even it may contain implicit objects, such that either the values or variables or implicit objects are evaluated and converted into string. After converting into string, the results are transferred to the client through the response object. In short, the JSP expression tag writes the result to the client through the browser. The syntax of expression tag in JSP is angular bracket, percentage symbol followed by equal to sign. Please make a note of it. The syntax of expression tag in JSP has equal to symbol after the angular bracket and percentage symbol. Then it deals with the expressions. Then what else? That expression may be of values or variables or even the implicit objects. Later it ends with percentage symbol and angular bracket. Here we are going to see three examples for JSP expression tag. Out of that, the first example deals with the expression of values or expression with values. Here the code shown consists of 8 lines. Among that, first, second, third, fourth and fifth, seventh and eighth line are very basic HTML tags stating that this is the line number 1, line number 2, line number 3, line number 4, line number 5, line number 7 and line number 8. All are very basic HTML tags, ranges from HTML tag, head tag, starting and ending of head tag. Inside the head tag we have the title tag, which represents JSP expression tag example 1, and followed by the head tag, the body tag. The inside the body tag, that is exactly the line number 6. Here the expression tag of JSP, that is the JSP expression tag, is represented in such a manner that angular bracket, percentage symbol followed by equal to, then it has a values stating that 2 plus 4 into 5. The hierarchy of multiplication symbol is higher than the plus, so 4 into 5 is done first, that is 4 into 5 equals 20, then 20 plus 2 equal to 22. This is how the values in the line number 6, which consists of JSP expression tag with the values, are evaluated, and the last line it ends with HTML tag. When the code is being executed, the output is shown in the browser. You can able to see the output stating that 22, that is 2 plus 4 into 5. Since the multiplication symbol is having the priority operator precedence than the plus, so 4 into 5 is 20, so 20 plus 2 is 22. Now we are getting the output as 22. Now in this example, the expression of values is represented using JSP expression tag in this first example. Now moving to the second example, where the expression of variables are carried out. In this example, we have initialized few variables, so call it as A, B, C in this with respect to this example, and the expressions, the JSP expression here, using this we are initializing 3 variables, and these are passed as an expression of variables in the expression tag such that the results are evaluated by using addition and the results are printed. You just see here that there are totally 13 lines in this code ranging from 1 to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. First 5 lines are now very basic HTML tags. Line number 6 to 10, the line number 6 where the JSP tag starts, angular bracket percentage symbol. Then line number 7 initializes the variable a, declares the variable a as declares the variable a as integer and initializes with the value 10. Then the subsequent line number 8, it declares the variable b as integer and initializes with the value 20. Then the subsequent line number 9, it declares the variable c as an integer data type and initializes with the value 30. Now the 10, line number 10, the subsequent line 10, it closes the JSP such that line number 6 to 10, in between the line number 6 to 10, that is line number 7, 8 and 9, the same syntax of Java notation is followed here for declaring the variable and initializing. You can note down here the line number 7, 8, 9. Line number 7, 8 and 9, it ends with semicolon, very similar to that of Java notation. Coming back to the line number 11, the JSP tag, expression tag, it starts with angular bracket percentage symbol. Then it, please make a note of it here, after the angular bracket and percentage symbol you will have equal to symbol such that which represents JSP expression tag. Here we are just adding those variables which is already initialized in the line number 7, 8 and 9 respectively, that is a plus b plus c. The value of a is 10, the value of b is 20, the value of c equal to 30, such that a plus b plus c, that is 10 plus 20 plus 30, results in 60. Then the line number 11, we are evaluating the JSP expression of variables. Line number 12 and 13, the body tag and HTML tag are closed, the ending part of body and HTML. If you are executing this JSP page, see here the output is 60. That is the addition of 10 plus 20 plus 30 in the JSP expression. Here this example is for evaluating the JSP expression of variables, whereas the first example what we saw is evaluating the JSP expression for values. That is here in the first example we just are evaluating the values inside the JSP expression tag, whereas in the second example just we are evaluating the variables value inside the expression tag. Coming back to the subsequent example where the strings and implicit objects can also be processed in the JSP expression. Here in this example we are setting up an attribute using an application implicit object. That is, you please don't get confused with the new terminology called as application implicit object. In subsequent lecture sessions we will be dealing more in detail about application implicit objects or implicit objects we will be dealing, whereas as of now we will be seeing how the implicit objects are being processed using the expression tag, that is JSP expression tag. Now we are using this implicit object for displaying the attribute of a simple string from one JSP page to that of subsequent JSP page using the expression tag. That is how we can able to share a variable's value between the JSP pages using the JSP expression tag. Here in this example consists of two JSP pages, one called as index.jsp and another one called as display.jsp. First we will discuss about index.jsp. It consists of 8 lines stating that you can able to see very clearly that line number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up to 5 are very basic HTML tags and processing. The line number 6 and 7, the line number 6 and 7 where it starts with a JSP expression tag, angular bracket, percentage symbol, then application dot set attributes. As we already stated, we will be dealing the application implicit object. Here application is the object, dot set attribute. Set attribute is an inbuilt function. You can able to see here the set attribute, the clear Java notation is followed here. The first letter of the first word is lowercase, first letter of the second word is uppercase, stating that it is an inbuilt function. Application is an object. Application dot set attribute. Here we are setting an attribute for a variable called as my name, and its corresponding value is Chaitanya. For example, it was shown here as Chaitanya. It is not necessary that you need to keep the same variable name. Instead of that, the variable and its value can be customized as per the requirements. And in the subsequent line number 8, here what we are doing is a href tag. You can clearly note here a href, that is anchor tag, h reference equal to display.jsp, and click here for display. When this particular click here for display, this text is being clicked, it acts as a hypertext reference for a subsequent page called as display.jsp, which we are going to view or discuss in very short. Then closing tag of body and HTML. Here, if you are closely observing that line number 6 and 7, the line number 7, it has only the HTML tag, such that there is no any incorporation or addition of angular bracket and percentage symbol, as we know that it is required only for incorporating the Java notation into the HTML, what we call it as JavaScript. Whereas since this line number 7, which consists of normal hypertext reference as a set of HTML, it is not incorporated into the JSP tags. Whereas in line number 6, since we are using an application implicit object, application.set attribute function, so it has to be incorporated within the JSP tags. And here what we are doing is the variable name called as my name is set with a value called as Chaitanya. This we are doing it in a first file called as index.jsp. Moving to the second file called as display.jsp. Here it consists of 9 lines, and if you are closely observing it, the line number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up to 5 all are very basics of HTML tags. That is HTML head. Inside the head tag we are having a title called as display page, and again from the line number 5 it starts with a body tag, and line number 6 and 7, as stated in the previous example, the line number 6 and 7 deals with the processing of the current options what we want to do. Here the line number 6, it deals with angular bracket percentage symbol equal to. Here just directly we are printing the string value. This is a string, this will be printed. And after the completion of JSP scriptlet called as percentage symbol followed by angular bracket 2, you can able to see a normal BR tag. This is for just a break, as we will be using in HTML. Now the line number 7, that is angular bracket percentage symbol equal to the same what value we set in the earlier file called as index.jsp in line number 6 with the value of Chaitanya, and the corresponding variable name is my name. Here just we are printing it. See here, application dot get attribute. For setting the attribute you need to use a inbuilt function called as application dot set attribute, whereas for displaying its value you need to use an inbuilt function called as application dot get attribute. Clearly you can able to differentiate it here. For set attributes takes 2 arguments, one is variable name and other one is variable's value. As the current line is highlighted here, the application dot set attribute takes 2 arguments, one is a variable name, what the variable name has to be set, and the corresponding value for that variable. Whereas the application dot get attribute, just it takes only the variable name whose value has to be printed. Because this value has to be printed, we are using the angular bracket percentage symbol followed by equal to sign, such that it is used to, or this convention is used to print the variable's value. The line number 8 and 9 just closes the body and HTML tag. If I am seeing the output, see here, this is the output for index.jsp. Index.jsp, what it does, just it displays content called as click here for display. Whenever I am clicking on it, it leads to display.jsp. Before that, in the line before this processing, what we are doing is using the application implicit object and using the function called as set attribute. By using JSP expression tag, we are setting the variables value called as my name as value Chaitanya. This is what happening in index.jsp. See here, this is the output index.jsp. Whenever I'm clicking this, click here for display, then it leads to subsequent page called as display.jsp, this file display.jsp. And here in display.jsp, with respect to line number 6, what will be displaying is this is a string. This line will be displayed. After that, while processing the subsequent line called as 7th line, what we will be doing here is in 7th line, application.get attribute of the corresponding variable name my name. The value of my name is Chaitanya. Directly it will be printed here. You can able to see here, this is a string followed by Chaitanya. Since because we have a BR statement here, BR tag in line number 6 of display.jsp, after this is a string, the Chaitanya is printed in the second new line. This is how the JSP expression is used. JSP expression tag is used to evaluate the value. This is example 1. This is example 1 where we'll be using JSP expression to evaluate the value. Here in the example 1, we evaluated the values called as 2 plus 4 into 5 such that the output is 22. Then in example 2, we evaluate the variables value using JSP expressions. In this example, that the variables a, b, c are declared and initialized with the corresponding values, and in line number 11 here we just evaluate the corresponding variables value and we are printing it. Coming back to the last example, that is third example, how to evaluate these strings and implicit objects. Here in this example we saw application implicit object for evaluating the application implicit object using JSP expression tag. That is, in first page you are assigning the variables value using application.set attribute function, and whenever you are clicking a hyperlink from the current page, it leads to the subsequent page. In this example, the current page or else the first page is index.jsp. From here, whenever you are clicking content here, click here for display, it leads to display.jsp page. That is the second page where you are just displaying the variables value what we set in the first page called as index.jsp. In short, the variables value is set in the first page called as index.jsp and it is being shared to the second page, where by specifying the variables value in the second page using the function called as application.get attribute using JSP expression tag, we are just displaying the variables value. This is how the JSP tags are very much useful in evaluating the values, variables values and objects, implicit objects output. Thank you.